happy Wednesday, happy Mercury day, and hopefully it will be a happy day because we have a little bit of a challenging transit to talk about today. You might have already been feeling this energy. It's Mars opposing Uranus. So we have the planet of war, aggression, instinct, opposite or as distant as possible from the planet of change, innovation, transformation, rebellion. So as you can imagine, this could be a day that's fueled by our tempers, our egos, and we could encounter some challenges. But the good news is you're here and you're ready to be prepared for this energy. I always say it's better to know what's coming and be prepared for it than be reactive to it. And today will certainly be a reactive day. So we have this major transit that we've been coming into for the past day or so. And then we also have the moon in Taurus making several connections, some of them challenging, some of them will bring a little bit of relief. So we'll go over all of that now. Let's just jump right in and take a look at the chart for today. So you can see here that if we can scroll here, Mars is at 12 degrees in Scorpio. So let's just talk about Mars in Scorpio so we can fully understand this energy. Mars in Scorpio is going to be more reactive. Again, this is the planet of action, of drive, of stamina. And you can think of it in terms of a Scorpio. Literally, we're in Scorpio season. So a scorpion reacts, right? It stings its predator before its predator can harm it. We're a little bit more reactive with Mars in Scorpio. We might sting others or cut a little bit deep under Mars in Scorpio. Our actions or words can be a little bit harsher already, just as Mars is transiting through this sign. Uranus is in Taurus, opposite Scorpio. So Uranus is a much slower moving planet. It's been in Taurus for several years, I believe, and will take several more years to transit through this sign. And we can observe the effects of Uranus in Taurus as literal changes to our Earth. Taurus is an earth sign. It rules the physical. It rules our sensuality, what we can touch, see, feel. It rules the 3D. And we've seen literal changes to the earth over the past couple of years and just more of a focus on the future. And Uranus is also very future thinking and innovative. So we've had this huge focus on what changes we need to make to have a more sustainable future. So those are these two energies that are playing out. What happens when there's an opposition between them? Well, an opposition is kind of like a make or break energy. So it can complete each other. These two energies can complete each other. You can kind of think of it like magnets. They can either attract each other or repel each other. So you could have this completion or you could have this conflict. Those are kind of the shadows and the light of this transit. So as always, let's talk about the shadow first. What could this look like today, this opposition? Again, we have already been feeling this energy for the last day or so as Mars has been coming into this opposition, but it'll become exact at 9:30 this morning Pacific time. So what could this look like? It could look like quick changes with the actions we're taking or our reactions. It could look like some potential explosions. Honestly, people could just kind of blow up because Mars in Scorpio cuts deep. Uranus brings these quick changes. So you could feel a shift in your mood, not necessarily for the better, but maybe it will be. Maybe it will be. So this energy is going to make us more impulsive, more reactive. Could bring some tempers to the surface. It could make you angry. Other people could trigger you. You could trigger other people. The best way to think about this is everybody is experiencing the same energy. So if someone is pissing you off or they just seem like they're in a bad mood or their energy is not where you would like it to be, remember they're probably feeling the effects of this transit as well. And this opposition between Mars and Uranus will probably affect Aries, Aquarius, Scorpio, and Taurus placements a little bit more than the rest of us, just because these planets are in Scorpio and Taurus, and they rule Aries and Aquarius. So Uranus rules Aquarius, Mars rules Aries. So friends and family with those placements, heavy placements in those signs, could experience this energy a little bit more intensely than the rest of us. Really, this could just bring general upsets or challenges today. Even over the past couple days, I've been experiencing more tech challenges, more random kind of upsets, honestly, when it comes to technology. It's interesting because Uranus also rules technology. So at first I was like, Mercury's not retrograde. Why am I having tech issues? And then I realized, okay, this Mars opposite Uranus can make for quick changes and actions when it comes to technology. Or this opposition can also look like basically an opposition. These two planets are not in the same elements. They're in opposing elements to each other. So it's almost like they have two different motivations. Mars in Scorpio wants to charge forward, wants to take action, wants to be in control. Uranus in Taurus has a very different energy. It wants change. It wants to think about the future. And those two things don't always see eye to eye. So that could play out as well. You could have this urge to want to push forward towards your goals, to keep going, and you could be having these upsets or changes that kind of prevent you from doing that. Or internally, you could have this drive, this motivation to get things done today, to make it happen, but Uranus could bring some challenges or hold you back as far as like those tech upsets I was talking about. They could slow us down. They could have their own motivation. Uranus and Taurus could just kind of throw things off. You can be charging forward, and over here, this energy is like, wait, you have to pay attention to all of these things first. So that can be kind of the negative. People can be angrier, more triggered. Our angry emotions can change really quickly under this transit, or you could be feeling totally fine. Somebody else could be feeling totally fine, and all of a sudden, just an outburst of anger comes up today. Again, everybody's experiencing this energy, so try to give people a little bit of grace today and try to give yourself a little bit of grace today as well. But as with every transit, there's a shadow and a light. So let's talk about the potential for this transit, because we love to look at the silver lining, right? And see what opportunities it can bring. So the opposition, that we already talked about the conflict aspect of it. What about the completion aspect of it? How can these two energies complete each other? Well, we can use any motivation or drive that we feel today because of Mars in Scorpio to think about the future, to act towards the future. If we have this clear vision of what we want to call in and what we're working towards, that can actually complete or help our drive to make it happen. So it can help us expand our perspective and think about the future, think about our goals, think about our place in the collective, how we want to help humanity. And Mars opposite Uranus can give us the drive or the push in order to move in that direction. So actions we take today could either cause disruption, anger, outbursts, issues, or they could push us further towards our greatest purpose, our goals, our biggest vision. So just try to be nice to other people in the process. We kind of got a taste of this Mars energy with the Aries moon over the weekend, and at the beginning of the week just might have brought some agitation into your life, might have brought some motivation as well. But now that Mars is opposing Scorpio, we're getting even more of a dose of that passionate energy. Passion isn't always a bad thing, but Mars in Scorpio definitely brings the passion. And it can bring a little too much passion if we don't watch our words and have intention behind our actions. So be mindful of that. Let me know if you're already starting to feel this. We have some people joining the stream. Shauna says, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Crystal says good morning as well. Appreciate you being here as always. My mom's here. Hi, Mom. Safe's here giving us some thumbs up. So it seems like people are in at least a good vibe to start the day. That's what we want to see. Try to hang on to the good energy if you're already feeling it. And again, try to be patient with others and be patient with yourself, because there are bound to be some challenges, whether they're minor or major, whether they involve other people, whether they involve technology, whether they just involve your own anger and frustration. Be prepared for the unexpected, be prepared for some upsets, and try to set those intentions at the beginning of the day so when they do arise, you are in a more balanced place or a more intentional place to handle them. So that's the major transit. Now let's talk about what's going on with the moon today, because this reactivity and impulsiveness will definitely trigger some emotion. So let's figure out where our emotional state is going to be as well. So the moon moved into Taurus last night. It'll stay in Taurus until the full moon on Friday morning. And the full moon is also a partial lunar eclipse. So not only have we had some challenging transits so far this week that might have drum up some anger, some frustration, might have brought some changes, but eclipses are also known for major shifts, whether that's natural disasters, whether that's governmental shifts, whether that's shifts in your personal life. So it's almost like this intense energy we've been feeling this week is kind of preparing us for eclipse season. And eclipse season will be about a month long because we have these back-to-back eclipses in Taurus, and then the new moon in Sagittarius is also a solar eclipse. So this Scorpio season is always about endings and beginnings, but this one in particular marks a real moment where one chapter is closing and another is opening. This eclipse on Friday is the first of an eclipse, the first eclipse in a cycle that's going to last for about the next 2 years. The following solar eclipse on December 4th is the last eclipse in a cycle on the Gemini-Sagittarius axis that's been going on for the past 2 years. So not only are we talking about death and rebirth just because of Scorpio season, but we're also looking at the bigger picture and some cycles closing out by the beginning of December, while other cycles are just starting because of this eclipse on Friday. So that's a little preview of the eclipse energy. But as we approach the full moon on Friday, we'll feel a little bit more down to earth with the moon in Taurus. The moon is exalted in Taurus, so it's very comfortable here. And Taurus is all about comfort anyway. It likes to be cozy. It likes to be comfortable. Really allow this energy to let you settle in, get grounded, maybe connect to nature in the second half of this week to help clear out any internal conflict or any struggle that you're dealing with. Connecting with nature can feel really nourishing with the moon in Taurus. And Uranus is in Taurus as well. So the moon is going to join Uranus today at about 7 o'clock tonight. The moon forms a conjunction to Uranus, which can bring mood changes, and at the same time, the moon and Uranus together, you can see, will be opposing Mars. So let me fast forward until we start to see this. You can see the moon moving on the chart here if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, coming into that conjunction in Taurus. Let's go forward a few more hours. So when the moon gets to 12 degrees, we're getting there, hour by hour. It's forming this conjunction to Uranus. The moon conjunct Uranus just brings mood changes in general, shifts in our mood. It can really make us be thinking about our future selves. And that can feel a little bit agitating because if you're not where you want to be yet, that will definitely be noticed or felt by tonight. But you can see on our chart here, the moon and Uranus meet up in Taurus, and then there's this direct opposition to Mars in Scorpio. So we have this conjunction now tonight forming an opposition to Mars, which means not only Are we experiencing this opposition between two planets? And we could be more reactive, more impulsive, seek excitement in the form of conflict potentially, but our emotions will be thrown into the mix as well tonight. So our mood will also be opposite our motivation. Again, this can be an attraction, a completion, or conflict, repelling. So, you could want to feel one way, and your anger or your impulses make you react a different way. There's a hard time with these energies working together. They're opposing each other quite literally, but mood changes tonight could also help you understand your motivation better. They could be that missing piece that allows you to take action. So my advice is, regardless of how your emotions come up today, make sure that you are taking time to observe them and figure out what they're telling you about yourself. It's easier said than done when we're in a really reactive moment or a reactive mood, but maybe lean into that Uranus energy and try to take some space. Take a step back in the middle of conflict to try to take a breath, calm yourself down a little bit, because again, with Mars in the mix, we'll really want to charge ahead into that conflict. We'll be aggressive. We are ready for war. Just make sure whatever you're fighting for is something that is actually important to you, and you're not just fighting for the sake of fighting or fighting for releasing energy, because that could be very easy to do today under these skies. So before that whole mashup we just talked about, this morning at 11 a.m. Pacific time, the moon forms a square to Saturn. Again, not a great angle. We have the moon in Taurus, which can make us a little bit more stubborn. We like to be in our comfort zone with the moon in Taurus, forming this challenging angle to Saturn in Aquarius. And this transit can make us feel a little low. It can make us feel a little bit depressed. It can remind us of our limitations. It can remind us of the rules, of the boundaries, of the structure. And it can make us a little bit fearful or think about what could go wrong. Saturn is the limiter. You can think of it as sort of the father figure saying like, wait, don't do this because here are all the things that could happen. It can come up as fear. It can come up as negativity. So when the moon forms this square to Saturn by midday, if you're starting to feel a little bit negative or have those intrusive thoughts coming up, just remember the moon moves very quickly. The transit won't last too long, but try not to get so stuck in that negative energy. It can be really easy to do by midday today, and expect challenges. Again, this transit could also bring some challenges. What we can do to try to mitigate this is think long term, see the bigger picture. Saturn and Uranus can really help us to do that. Think about the bigger perspective, the bigger plan. And if we can keep that in mind and have that intention, it could diffuse any conflict or just help us have more perspective in challenging situations. By this evening, before that full mashup with the moon and Uranus and Mars, the moon actually forms this nice flowing angle to Venus by 5 p.m. Pacific time. So this could bring a little temporary air of romance or make us want to be around the people we love. We might want to enjoy the finer things in life. The moon in Taurus loves luxury. Venus in Capricorn also loves wealth and luxury. And it also helps us think long term in terms of our desires. So this angle, this trine, and you can see it here. Let's rewind a second on our little chart. The moon in Taurus forming this trine to Venus in Capricorn on your screen here. A trine is a harmonious angle. It can actually bring good fortune. So by mid-afternoon, early evening, you might have a fortunate investment opportunity, something long-term that could bring you luck. Now, with this impulsive energy, don't jump into anything too quickly, but if this is something you've been thinking about for a long time, having an investment or even having that conversation with a significant other, with someone you were in some sort of relationship with, not necessarily a romantic relationship, there could be good fortune around that interaction. However, I wouldn't focus your whole day on this transit. It's one of many today, and it's really the only fully positive one we're talking about. So I could see this popping up as by 5 p.m. tonight or early afternoon, we're like, okay, things are feeling a little better. I'm flowing. I'm feeling good. My desires are flowing with my emotions. Everything is good. And then a couple hours later, when the moon meets up with Uranus, opposes Mars, we could be right back in that battle. So don't be fooled if earlier in the evening things are going smoothly, because challenges could pop back up. But we can use this moment around 5 p.m. Pacific, this nice harmonious angle between the moon and Venus, to get into a better energy and really tune into our own desires and what makes us feel good, what makes us feel loved, our affection towards others. Try to get into that state. Use that brief window before the transits start to challenge each other again. Does that make sense? I hope that's making sense. Karina, happy 35th birthday to you. Thanks for starting your birthday with us, Scorpio Queen. What a fun day. I hope that all the transits today actually give you this motivation, and you can use the positive of this opposition between Mars and Uranus to think long term and think about what actions you want to take to meet those long-term goals and to become your future self. I could see that really working in your favor today. And Mars is right in your home sign of Scorpio. So maybe that will, I don't know your full chart, but you might feel this extra drive or motivation, Karina. Taurus Sun and Venus. Let's see. Taurus Sun and Venus have been feeling the anger and frustration until today. Okay, that's good. So your sun is opposite the sun right now. So, you might be feeling that completion today. If you've been feeling the anger, frustration, I'm right there with you. I've been dealing with a lot of challenges lately. We talked about this with technology, and the Aries moon was really aggravating for me this time for some reason. But good. Lean into that drive, the natural state, girl. Lean into it. If you can find a flow in that motivational energy, just focus on yourself. Mars can really flare up our ego because, it's kind of that animal instinct. But if we can just focus on ourselves today and our own motivations, our own drive, that can be something that's really beneficial with so much conflict in the stars. And that Uranus energy, Uranus rules Aquarius, like we talked about. And I think a lot of times Aquariuses are like nomads. They kind of want to be off on their own. They're doing their own thing. They are fine taking space from other people. So that could be a lesson in itself today too. If conflict arises, if you're feeling that tension with other people or just with yourself, taking space, focusing on your own motivations, focusing on your own drive, your own passions, your own desires can really help you avoid an explosion or a blow up. There is a potential for that today. Yeah, got some Taurus anger this morning. That's my partner. So we're already feeling this energy in our household today. That's just real life, you guys. I don't come on here claiming to have all the answers for you. I feel the energy as much as you do. And I will say that I knew that Mars was opposing Uranus this morning. And when frustrations already arose before 7 o'clock, it was a lot easier to just be like, okay, this is just the energy of the day. This is just how it's going to go, and it's okay. I don't have to take it personally. We're all just feeling a little more agitated today. That's the beauty of astrology. It's not here to fix your life. It's just here to give you some perspective. So let's just do a brief overview of the energy of the day, and then we will pull a card and you can get on your merry way, because this Mars energy is probably making you want to move a little bit. And that's another thing actually that just came up for me. If you're feeling anger or agitation, or you're feeling this intense opposition, your mood feels like it's changing, or small things are upsetting you, because Uranus is the disruptor. It likes to upset us. It likes to be the rebel. And then Mars is just angry and aggressive. Channel your energy into physical movement. Mars and Scorpio can definitely benefit from physical movement. The moon opposing Mars can definitely benefit from exercise. Exercise can help move emotions through you, especially by tonight when we have that opposition between the moon and Mars. So physical exercise, moving your body, is going to help move your emotions today as well. So let's go over what's happening. Mars opposite Uranus. We have our drive, our passion, our motivation, our stamina, opposite to the planet of change, rebellion, innovation. This can go one of two ways. There are likely to be challenges. There are likely to be upsets, maybe some triggers, maybe some frustrations. However, if we can use this energy to our benefit, we can actually think about our future selves, think about the future of the world and the earth with Uranus and Taurus, and take actions that support what we want to see, that support our desires, that support the causes that we're passionate about. The moon is also in Taurus for basically the rest of the week, the next couple of days, which can make us a little bit more stubborn. We'll like to be in our comfort zone with the moon in Taurus. So we might just want to hop on the couch, throw on a movie, and cozy up. That's definitely the vibe of the moon in Taurus. The moon makes some challenging angles to Saturn and also forms a conjunction with Uranus by tonight. So that's only going to infuse our emotions into any conflict that arises. And emotions in Taurus can be a little bit more harsh. They can kind of be mean a little bit. So just watch your words today. Watch how you're reacting. Really observe your own reactions. They can be really big lessons. And try to give other people the benefit of the doubt as well, because we're all feeling a little bit more agitation today, and we likely will be feeling this until the eclipse on Friday morning, which just ushers in a whole new energy to deal with. So that's what we're dealing with today. That's the energy of this Wednesday. Now let's see what message the universe has for us. Let's pull a card. And I specifically chose this deck, this Animal Oracle deck, because Mars energy is kind of like I said, our animal instinct. It can bring out our inner animal. So I figured we could take some notes from a spirit guide, a spirit animal this morning. The thing about this deck is that it's really thick. So I think there's 72 cards in it. So it takes me a second to shuffle. But whatever message needs to come through is going to come through. Let's see. We have Mars opposite Uranus. We have the moon in Taurus. What do we need to know today? Okay, Skunk Spirit. That is the card that came through. Getting a little skunky. Okay, here's the card. What does it mean? Now, I don't really identify with the skunk. I don't really know skunk's nature other than that they spray people. And we could be tempted to react by spraying some nastiness on others today. So that's the first thing that comes through to me. It's kind of the same as that Scorpion energy with Mars and Scorpio. Of skunks react, they defend themselves before they can be hurt or before their predators can get to them. So you might have those urges today as well. And similarly to a scorpion, when a skunk attacks, no one is happy. People are very upset. Okay, Skunk Spirit. The message here is know your worth. What do you value? What do you believe in? Is your best, most authentic self on display? Skunk Spirit comes as a reminder that you can be proud of who you are and what you've accomplished. Know your worth. not everyone will agree with you or share your values, but you can walk away with your head high, knowing that when you express your integrity, others can feel your authenticity and will be inspired by it. Be who you are, and if your reputation precedes you, good. You have much to be proud of, and Skunk Spirit wants you to be your best self, the true you. Okay, interesting, interesting. I think it's cool that this message on this card is know your worth, because Taurus rules the second house in astrology, which is all about our value and our worth. So with the moon in Taurus, we could be feeling that emotionally. We could be reflecting on our own worth, our own values. And Uranus helps us think about the future and what we value as far as what we want to see in the future. So if tensions arise today, if you're in conflict, if you're feeling aggression from others or within yourself, remember your worth, remember your value, remember your most authentic self. It will be very easy to act from a place of animal instinct today. It'll be very easy to lose sight of what we really want because of such conflict between these transits. But if we can set that intention this morning, you're here, you're watching this, you want to be in a good space today, set that intention, give other people the benefit of the doubt, and remember not to spray your skunk stuff. I don't even know what that is called. Not to spray others. If you become triggered, if you become fearful, if you become reactive, don't spray, just walk away. That just came to me. I think that's a perfect note to end today's show on. Don't spray, don't be the skunk, just walk away, collect yourself, and come back when you can be in a little bit more of a calm state. Try to find that resolution. That resolution might not come today. It might take a few days for the skunk smell to get out, but just try not to spray. Try not to sting other people. Try to be kind today, and try to remember that everybody is feeling this intense energy as well. Everybody is feeling a little bit more aggravated. Everybody's moods could be more hostile, or we could be upset more easily. So it's not just you, and remember that when you're interacting with other people. I hope you have a wonderful day today. We'll be right back here tomorrow talking about what's the major transit tomorrow? Let's see. So I just like to give you guys a little preview of what's to come. This will definitely be the energy of today, though. Tomorrow we have a trine, I believe, between the Sun and Neptune. I think something Mercury and Neptune. That's what it is. Mercury forms a trine with Neptune tomorrow. So our thoughts will be a little bit dreamier by tomorrow. We might want to check out into a fantasy land by tomorrow, or just talk about our fantasies tomorrow. But we'll dive into that tomorrow morning at 7:30. We also have another episode of The Spiritual Journalist tomorrow at 10 a.m. streaming live wherever you're watching. And tomorrow's episode is going to be so good. It's going to be a deeply emotional conversation about a story of healing, of strength, of survival, of mental health, of grief, of love. And I'm so excited for you to meet our next guest. So in the meantime, you can follow us over on @the.spiritual.journalist, and you can see previews of our next episodes. You can find out when we'll be going live. You can also head to thespiritualjournalist.com and see past episodes there, or you can see the daily astrology transits posted there every day under the astrology tab on thespiritualjournalist.com. I'm so grateful you spent your morning with me today. Shauna, yep. Okay, I'm not the only one feeling this energy. She says, this card reminds me a lot of Taurus and the second house of what we value and desire. Shauna, you read my mind. Ugh, I love when that happens, especially because I don't really relate to a skunk. You know, I never really, we don't think about skunks a lot. But yeah, that card was really spot on with the Taurus moon energy. So thank you to everybody who joined the conversation today, who shared how they're feeling, shared how the transits are affecting them. That's always validating and confirming for me when other people are feeling the same energy. And I will see you right back here tomorrow at 7:30. But until then, stay curious.